Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
Let's talk about this morning. Actually, morning for me. I don't know when you'll be listening to this here, sister and brother, because we do have female listeners as well. But let's talk about being with it. What does that mean, be with it? This is an interesting thing that comes up, and that happens as humans, is that we often, when feelings come up, when memories come up, when anything that doesn't feel good comes up, we somehow think that the MO, what we're supposed to quote unquote do, is to make it go away. And we either suppress it, we just go, no. Maybe we use a tool to numb, right? It could be something to the extreme of we use alcohol, we use drugs, we use food, we use sex, we use shopping, we use whatever. We use something just to stop the feeling that we don't want to feel, or the memory or the thought that we don't want to remember or think. Or there can also be the other extreme, if you will, which is we just pepper it with affirmations. We just go, nope, I'm going to go right to feeling good because feeling good is going to shift my state. And yes, and is there anything wrong with affirmations? No, but none of the spiritual bypassing. So here's what I need you to first understand is that when these situations come up in our life, these things that we're feeling, these things that we get, what people will call triggered, right? Like triggered, you'll be reminded of something. Somebody will say or do something, it will look like somebody, and it'll be triggered. It'll be something, it is some deep wound within yourself. And I know wound might sound like an extreme, kind of word, but I mean, that really is that. It's a wound. It's something that happened to you, most likely between the ages of 0 and 7. That is it's deep in there, and we don't know because it is subconscious, below consciousness. We are not aware of it, and it gets felt. Now, we might have a thought that goes along with it, but it's most likely it's a feeling that we have inside, right? It feels awful. We don't feel safe. Maybe we feel it as like some kind of physical pain. We get a headache. We get tension in the back of our neck. You just feel like blah, yuck within your stomach, like your heart races. Like there's something that it's reminding you inside your body that there's something that you're experiencing. And it's in some ways it's a familiar feeling, which sounds kind of nutty, but it's a familiar feeling because it's something that you have experienced it. There's been a trigger, something has happened, someone said something. And by the way, it's not that person's fault. I know it's really easy to go there, and we can go to victimhood and go, oh, that person triggered this. Oh, that person made me feel. No, this is when you can take the perspective of saying, wow, actually, this person said this or did this thing, and it allowed this thing to surface for me. Like, it is all acting according to plan. Do you feel that? Every little moment, every choice, every action, non-action, decision, not decision, what you're seeing played out in front of you, the drama that is your life, the play, is all happening divinely as it needs to happen. Even the times when you said something and you go, oh my God, I shouldn't have said that. And maybe you acted not in accordance with the utmost integrity, or you weren't kind, or wasn't loving, or you lashed out, or you projected onto somebody because of your own triggers, right? When somebody reminded you of somebody. And then, so I can tell you, like for me, there's something that I really feel when it comes to authority. And here's the piece of it. You don't have to know why. So in other words, I could take a look at it and go, well, I pushed back against my mom for most of my life until maybe 5 years ago. Like I just resisted anything. And my mom she was either not really around emotionally for me. I was the youngest of 3. My mom had a lot of different mental health issues, which were never really talked about or discussed. But, looking back now, it's like, yeah, they were definitely there. And she did her best. This is not to blame my mother or anything like that. Or she would swing the other pendulum and just be really smothering. And so I resisted. I pushed up against it. So I know at times when somebody even just said like, hey, like I had yesterday, someone came in with, looks like her elderly mom pushed a wheelchair. And I was sitting at a table at Starbucks, which had like the little wheelchair picture on the table. But I was like, oh, it's on the table. Like, I'm doing a little bit of work. I'm just making like 10 minutes and I'm out, right? So she came in and she asked me to move. And I made a thing about it. And it was shitty. It was not my finest moment. We all have those, right? I honestly share them with you because we all have them when we go, oh, that was not cool. And so I know that situation, looking back on it now, not in the moment, sometimes, when we start to experience this more and we get a little bit better of just being with the feeling of like, ooh, this is that feeling that I get, right? And there's another little piece that's giving me this opportunity now that's in front of me to shed that, right? It's like sloughing off, like how you'll like exfoliate your skin, right? You're sloughing off the dead little pieces of skin, right? Like this is what it's like. These wounds are fucking deep. And I'm telling you right now, sister, if you're feeling it heavy, and right now, we as women are carrying so much shit from our generations. So much. You're not just carrying your own pain and your own words. You're carrying stuff of your mothers, your grandmothers, your great-grandmothers. They've actually found in some research that actually goes back as much as 7 generations. We're carrying that. You want to know why it feels so fucking heavy? Because of that. This is a major shift in the consciousness for us as human beings to wake up and to heal and to stop this so that we don't continue these with our kids the best that we can. The best that we can. So these triggers that come up, these feel like the feeling we get that just kind of overcomes us. And here's the thing then too, from what I'm really some studying that I'm doing right now, is a lot of times these feelings, these triggers come up and then trigger so the trigger which makes you feel a certain way. And then it happens in the moment of exactly when that thing happens. So we go, oh, that thing did it. Yes, and it's now up to us to just be with that, to just allow it, just like that sloughing off of the skin. And so when that triggers come up, you now have a responsibility. You now have a responsibility to say, you know what, I could in this moment project this onto somebody else. I'm going to point the finger. I'm going to get mad back at them. You made me feel, you're an asshole. Why did you do this thing? Which they probably don't even know, because it can be something, by the way, which someone on the outside would be like, what is the deal? I don't understand what's just transpired here. Because within our beingness, that piece of us, that ego piece of us, says, oh, no, you didn't. Right? This person is this, or this person made you feel, and they're going, victim, victim, victim. Point the finger, not okay, run, not safe. And it could be something significant, and it could be something slight. And you have the responsibility now to go, what am I going to do with this? And that's tricky, because we move through our lives in such a reactionary state, don't we? I have been that for probably the first 4.5 decades. It's just more recently that I kind of realized with the work that I'm doing and time and life experiences to go, okay, this is coming up, and I now have the choice to respond. I can create, I've talked about this actually in previous podcast episodes, I can create a gap. I can pause right now. Let me give you the same analogy. You know the store, The Gap, right? And so you know how everybody knows what the box looks like if you go and you buy clothes at The Gap. There's that navy blue box with the white letters that says The Gap, or I think it just says Gap on it, right, in white. And so just think of it that when that thing happens, just visually take that Gap rectangular box and just put it right in front of you, okay? Pause, push pause for a moment and say, what am I going to do now? And so here's your choices. Your choice is to react and to explode onto that person or to project on that person the stuff that you're feeling. And guess what? It's going to most likely be the people that are closest to us, because they are actually physically closest to us and emotionally closest to us. And so we'll tend to act out that drama on that person. And we've been on the receiving and the giving end of that. So I know you know exactly what I mean when I share that with you. So that's door number 1. Door number 2 is we allow ourselves to feel that feeling and we don't project. In other words, I had a moment this morning where I was journaling something and it kind of brought up this feeling and I literally just felt like crying, and so I did. And you know what's interesting? When you allow yourself to just feel that and you don't create a story about it, like you don't go, oh, and then like you add logs to the fire and then you go, oh, and then this thing, like you don't snowball it, right? You just allow yourself to feel that. It happened last night too when I was doing yoga before bed. Like it was just this overwhelming feeling of just sadness or pain, or I don't even know how to really describe it, because I'm getting definitely just time, really just life experience and time to go, like I don't even need to label what it is, but I simply know right now in this moment I feel like crying. I'm feeling something. Whatever I want to call it, pain, sadness, anger, like it doesn't really matter. It's irrelevant. But I allowed myself to express that and to feel that emotion, energy and motion, to move it. And not even to move it, because move it sounds like I'm pushing it. Do you know what I mean? I allowed it. I allowed it to just flow out of me. And then when you allow yourself to do that and just be with it, don't judge it. Don't judge that whatever the experience has that's brought that up. Don't try to label it. Don't judge if there's another person involved. Don't judge the other person. Like, just be with that feeling, with yourself. It moves through just like a wave. What does the research say on emotion? If you just allow it to move through, it's like 60 to 90 seconds tops. And so what do? We white knuckle and we grip so hard to try to resist the feeling. Right? You want to know what the ugly face is? I did the ugly cry. It's because you're resisting. You're trying to hold it back. You're trying to hold back a wave. That's why you do the ugly face and it goes all contorted and weird. It's because you're trying to stop a natural thing. Right? Like, I remember, it's a funny story, but I remember when our oldest son, Tyson, he's 9 now. And so when he was little, he was a baby, he had some constipation. It was not fun. If you've had a kid with constipation at any age, like, it's not fun, right? But when they're really little, they don't really understand. And so then he got to a point where he was like, oh no, pooping hurts, so I'm just going to not poop. And I could see him, was he probably standing at that point? So it was probably like over a year. We were still having constipation issues a little bit on and off. And so I could see him, and he's standing in a corner. He has this look on his face, almost like he's red in the face. And he's like clenching his little butt cheeks because he's like, I don't want to poop. Last time I pooped, that hurt. So I'm just not going to poop. Right? And the thing is you can't stop that. We know that. You can't stop. You got to poop. You got to pee. You can maybe hold it for a little bit of time, but then it's got to come out, right? And so recognize that your emotions that come up, whether it's anger, whether it's it's sadness, it's, again, whatever the label is, whatever the feeling is, by the way. And it can be crying, it can be screaming. I'm not kidding you. It can be screaming into a pillow, in your car, like, scream it out. Move it in whatever way that it is feeling like it needs to move out of you and through you. And you just be with it. There will be a lightness and a lifting and I want to say the word ease. It doesn't feel like the right word. There'll be a freshness. It'll be like taking a deep breath and going, okay. And what I've now experienced so clearly, that when I just simply allow myself to do it, it's not long, by the way. So when you go, maybe you're like, oh my God, I don't have time for this. I got to go work. I got to go. No, just be with it, because you're probably going to find that it doesn't even take that long. Like 2 minutes tops. And then there's a lifting, right? And this is then when we can step back and we go, oh man, that experience happened so that this could move for me. Thank you, universe. Thank you. Thank you for presenting that person. Listen, we've all had situations in life where we kind of scratch our head and we go, what? How did this person show up this way? This isn't like them. Like, this is crazy, right? And yeah, it can be in their own stuff they're working through and their own dramas and wounds and all that kind of stuff. But like, it's happening for a reason. I know I had a situation in my personal life that happened last fall that was like this. Someone I knew quite well, and the way that they showed up was just like insanity. I literally could not wrap my brain and my heart around it. And I had someone that I was working with at the time that said, no, I don't. I remember because she was also aware of this individual as well, and she didn't even bat an eye. And I was kind of like, don't you think this is crazy? She's like, no, it doesn't feel like it. It feels like this is what is supposed to go down. It feels like this other person is just, they're playing out the drama and the role that needs to happen for this trigger to happen inside of you and this other experience to arise. And again, this is deep work. This is tough stuff. This is but can't we just go to feeling good? You know, feeling good's great. Like Gabby Bernstein talks about in her new book, Super Attractor. I'm a big fan of her work. And she does, yes, it is important we go, okay, I'm feeling this, I'm experiencing this, let me be with this, and then let me go to the feeling good. But the thing is most people don't want to do that part, because that's the icky stuff. That's like the, that's the stuff that's coming up that our body is so trying to take those pieces, those wounds, those past, those experiences, and alchemize and change them into something beautiful. And we're holding on to it going, no, 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 no. Like my little boy trying to hold the poop in. Like, it needs to be released. It needs to be felt. It needs to be, see it this way. It's almost just like a sacred prayer. Like, it is your soul that's saying, sweetheart, we gotta just move stuff around a little bit right now. So just, oh my God, just let go. Let go of thinking you need to control it. You can't. It's not designed to be controlled. Allow it to flow through. And to stop creating the story about all of it. Like, oh my goodness, so much energy expended, so much. And by the way, all that stuff is divinely timed too. So don't ever look back at anything in your life with regret, because it all served. It all played a role. It all had purpose. Be with it. So here's your more tip for today. Just write this on a Post-it note, because I'm telling you right now, there'll be several times in your day that something's going to come up and you're going to resist it. You're going to go, nope, can't feel this. Nope, don't want to do it. Nope, this feels like shit. I don't want to feel this. Just be with it, because the only way out of this is through. You can spiritually do the bypassing and just, again, shower the affirmations and go, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. Look at me. Like, I'm great. Everything's okay. And that's going to only work for so long, or to somehow get some validation from outside stuff, when inside your soul's going, sweetheart, we're dying inside of here. Please allow us to just... It's like, imagine that it's like a house where... It's like a hoarder. Remember that show Hoarder? That was like on A&E like years ago. And people would just have a house that's just full of shit, right? And so think of that. That's like our soul that just has all this shit inside. Sorry, that's a bad term to use, because I was just talking about my little boy holding the poop in. So just all these boxes, and each of that little box, each little doohickey, thing that hoarder says, no, I need this thing. And your soul is saying, sweetheart, we just got to declutter. We got to move this stuff out. Like, it'll be okay. Things will flow better. Just allow us this today. I promise it won't take long. It's just one thing. So write down those words, like, be with it and allow yourself. So if that means you're heading into work or you're heading home and you're feeling this wave of emotion in your car, let it out. Who cares? When people see me in the car, no one cares. No one cares. No one's going to see you. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's time just to really begin to unwind these and to know that you are safe. You are allowed to feel these things. and to trust and just surrender to it. There's so much energy that is used in trying to stop the natural flow of anything within life. And I know that that's been most likely the path that you've gone, because we've all gone that until we go, oh man, this isn't working anymore. So you're being given an opportunity with every single trigger, every single thing that happens to go, okay, here's another piece that's come up, like a little, almost like a blood clot. There's like a little piece that's getting dislodged and your body just wants to process and move it through. Just allow yourself to feel it. I promise you it'll be okay. And I also promise you it won't always be easy. It won't be easy. It's not designed to be comfortable, but you got to move it out. Be with it. Give yourself that permission. It will be okay. So, this kind of deeper dive, I am taking this conversation and going to these next levels, these next places inside the More Club. Have you heard about it yet? So this is something that I set up at the beginning of the year, so about 3 weeks ago. And, it really came out of so many of you saying like, oh, I love this, I love that. Like, I want to be able to coach with you, I want to be able to go retreat, but I've got all these kids, or I don't have the financial means to do that right now, or I can't get time off from work. And so I created some different like online courses. And, for those of you that's not, because I know that something like a retreat, like the Women Wanting More retreat experience is coming up actually in a couple of days here from when I record this podcast. So some incredible women that are coming out for this experience, absolutely transformational, but I know it's not for every woman. So I'm like, what can I create that could be for every woman on many different levels and would really give them some more of the tools and the resources and the support to continue this work? Because I know for a lot of you listen to the podcast, you kind of dive deep into it, and that's great, but then there's well, then now what, right? Like, what is the next thing? So that's what the More Club was created for, where there are bonus podcast episodes that you get to vote on. So it's like your own, and only those in the More Club get access to these bonus episodes. So you get to, I basically have thrown out like 5 or 6 different topics. You get to choose. And so there's 3 bonus episodes every single month. It's like creating your own personal podcast based on your needs. Like, how cool is that, right? There are a monthly mindset training. So some of these things like this work that we go really deep on. I have one guest interview each month that is a powerful female leader. I had a beautiful conversation with my really dear friend, Jill Ethier, talking about the importance of your energy, and her sharing some information about feng shui and her life experience. I'm like, she's just so wise and full of incredible, value to be able to share with every woman within the More Club. There's notes of love. There's shout outs on the podcast. There is VIP access to the next live events that are coming up, reading lists. So there's like just amazing resources that are all in the More Club that give you the tools, the resources, and the support to continue creating this life of more, the life that you truly want. And here's the craziest piece of this, okay? It's literally $2, $5, or $10 a month. That's it. That's it. There's 3 different tiers. You can choose whichever one is going to serve you most. $2, $5, $10, like easy peasy. And you get to have all these amazing things. Like, how awesome is that, right? So here's what you need to do to be able to join the More Club today. Go to, live a mouthful, so listen, patreon.com/womenwantingmore. 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 You can choose one of those 3 tiers, which is either $2 or $5 or $10 a month. Like, this isn't a no-brainer. You all need to be in this. This is amazing. And even when you just go and check it out, you're going to get to see little snippets of it. You won't be able to have access to the tools and the resources, but you'll see little pieces. You're going to see a video that goes in that really talks about more of my intention behind this and my big vision with Women Wanting More. And I would love for you to be part of that vision, sister. So go to patreon.com, patreon.com/womenwantingmore. And you can join the More Club and all the women inside of that today. So I will talk the next episode. A life of more really is one step away from you just allowing yourself to be with it every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosburn.com/newsletter.